Okay, really quick here. I figured I'd do a video because I see a lot of people commenting on my videos sometimes talking about this radio. And there's some, for whatever reason, there's like I guess an untruth out there that these radios do like 60 watts, which isn't true. But just for you guys' reference here, I got nothing against this radio. This is a great radio. I don't know if it maybe comes off on some of my videos that I don't like the radio, but that's obviously not the case. But what we're looking for here is power limitation. So that's off. So this is off. So this is like essentially the full power mode of the radio. And when we key up and press this, we see our RF power is at 10. So this is sideband, okay? And this is our power. So me speaking into the microphone here, it's about a 40 plus watt radio. What you see here is the same kind of power you'd see out of like Anytone Aries 2 or like a Radio Oddity QT40. Very good, clean 40 plus watts of peak envelope power. And that's what these radios do. So if you have a meter that's showing like 60 watts, something like that, I would check the accuracy of your meter, because you can see what we're terminating into here. There's no mysteries here at all on what this radio does. It's a good 40 watt radio. And the FCC model I just showed was about 20 to 23 watts, I think, maybe 25. So you're not really getting much more power out of this radio than I guess what some would say. So I don't know, I just kind of like to put that stuff out here. Personally, when I use this radio, even in this level, A4, which is technically like supposed to be the default level, the default level still does pretty good. So there's no difference. You're better off running it like this, to be honest. A little less power, but I mean the signal is going to be that much more cleaner on the output side. So there's no sense running it at full potential just because. I mean, no one is going to notice if you're running 25 to 30 watts PP versus 40, 43, other than you looking at your power meter. So that's one thing that I like to stress is running things to their absolute max is not really ever that effective. And then we have this power setting here, which is I think like mid power or something. So here's mid power, which I think pretty much on sideband, mid power pretty much gives you all of it, maybe just a touch less. So this one doesn't really serve any purpose either. I mean, if you're gonna run this, you might as well just run the full, which it pretty much does. So there's that. If we go to like AM, what will happen is you can adjust in the service mode the carrier. So like I have this at about 8 watts, and that's at the mid power. Well, what about when the power limitation's off? I can't remember. About the same. So I adjusted it like that. Just for reference here, this is what the radio does on AM. So this is what it does on AM. So 8 watts, and it swings, it's like 30 something. So pretty close to like a QT40 or an Aries 2. Kind of the same way. That kind of sense, if that makes sense to you guys. At A4, which is your default power, we're at about 4 watts. And with about 4 watts, the radio will swing kind of like the George FCC will, about normal, you know, maybe a little bit less, because like I said, these don't do as well on AM for whatever reason, but you know, it's pretty clean like this. It's very respectable. Like I would talk on this radio on AM because I don't really care. I don't want to sound all loud and distorted and over mod, but some probably wouldn't like it. So there's that. Apologize, I'm starting to lose my voice again. So that's it. Just a little quick video on the George 2 to try to dispel some myths out there that this is a 60 plus watt radio. Even if you go into the engineering menu and you go to the sideband settings and you crank them up all the way, which I wouldn't do and I haven't done to this, I still don't think it's possible to get 60 watts out of this, or even close to 50. So again, have fun out there, do what you must with your radios, but at the end of the day, just realize that power is never going to get you really where you want to go as far as like talking further distance. It's all about your antenna. If you supply a radio with a good antenna, that's going to get you there faster than power ever will, because you got to hear who hears you. The power might get you there, but you're not going to hear the people that hear you. So antenna is first always. Buy a good antenna, the best one you can get. If you're in a home environment or like a business that can have an antenna, put it up as high above the ground as you possibly can. And if you're in a vehicle, get the best antenna that you can get. Ground your vehicle, bond your vehicle. All that stuff is really important. A lot of that stuff with magnet mounts, they can cause a lot of RFI in the mobile and stuff, and it's just magnet mount antennas are good for like temporary, but a lot of times magnet mounts can cause a lot of grief too, especially when you're running power, and that can even be in the amateur radio side. The best kind of antenna is something that's permanently bonded to the metal chassis of the vehicle somehow. So that's why a lot of antennas make two different kinds. They have a magnet kind, and then they also have like a permanent install kind. In my car, I have a Chevy Impala. It's an older model. I have a hole drilled through the roof. I can put a Wilson 1000 up there, or any other antenna that has the standard UHF or PL259 kind of connection for an antenna. And that's permanently bonded to the metal roof, so I've never had any issues with any RFI or anything like that. When I was using a deck lid on my trunk, tons of issues because I wasn't getting enough ground. Having said that, if I would have bonded the vehicle and probably ran ground straps and bonded the hood to the frame and the door to the frame, and you would think that these things are already done because everything's connected in the vehicle, but a lot of these newer vehicles are more plastic than anything. So there's a lot more things that are important to factor on your radio setup than just flat out power. So hopefully you guys get something out of this. I'm not trying to preach to the choir or anything like that, but power is definitely not the end all be all. Power can do a lot of things, but without the right antenna and the right way to go about running the power, it's not really worth your while. So catch everybody later. George 2, definitely not 60 watts. 7.3.